So that's called a schema.
A schema.
A schema. Yeah.
A schema.
Yeah. So our experiences in the world like shape.
I get that. I put a cream on.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This isn't therapy.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hi.
And welcome back
To another fun,
flirty,
fabulous
episode
of This Isn't Therapy. I wasn't looking at the camera.
That's okay. Now you're doing it. Now you're doing it.
The podcast about all the stuff people are talking to their therapists about.
We're holding feet hands.
Yeah, my name is Jake Ernst, and I'm a therapist. Who are you?
My name is Simon Palick, and I'm not a therapist. However, Jakey and I were just two friends who like to have casual Kelly couch conversations about therapy themes.
And play footsies.
And play footsies. Wee. So every week on this podcast, Jakey and I, we put on these here grubby little paws, the grubbiest of grubby paws.
Yeah.
We pull back the therapy curtain. We reach into the therapy room. We pull out a theme, a factoid, a question, a query, a quandary, something that is floating around the culture. And then we bring it here on the pod, on this casual Kelly couch, to have a casual Kelly couch conversation. Why?
Well, it's because therapy themes are everywhere you look.
That's right.
Right. Grant put a sparkle on that.
Please.
This week, we are talking about two very important therapy themes that seem to, I can already sense.
You already know how you're going to thread it.
I can already sense that they're related.
Okay.
So for those who don't know the lore, Simon and I kind of just reach in separately now. We're kind of just like pulling out different themes.
Yeah.
And then we're coming together and like, okay, what do you have to talk about today?
Mm-hmm.
But today we're talking about anger and productivity guilt. And so I think they talk to each other, but I'm excited to kind of get into what the lovely listener has to say about anger.
Yeah. So in our first story,
it's
a lovely listener has submitted a story to us
That's
about
what they do.
irrational theory about irrational anger. And so we're gonna kind of explore anger.
Is that your term or theirs?
That's what they said. It's in the
Ooh.
story. It says irrational anger. So I don't know. So maybe is it rational? Is it irrational? We're gonna talk about anger, the role of anger.
Okay.
What is it for? And I think we've done that in the past. We talked about anger in general, but I think there's in this lovely listener story, which you're about to hear, there's a very specific kind of like temperature, or hint, or hue, or flavor, or tilt, or approach to this specific type of anger. So I think let's get granular.
Okay, you know what's cool?
What?
Is this topic theme of anger?
Yeah.
I think is our most played episode ever. Hello?
Siri?
Oh, I think we yelled too loud and the
AI.
The AI chatbots
The clanker.
Yeah, the AI chatbots are calling.
Okay, I love that. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's something about this topic that I think resonates with a lot of people. And if you remember our anger episode, our anger episode,
the rural juror.
Our anger episode from probably like 3 years ago now.
Wow.
Anyway, has
We've
a lot
been
of
around
plays.
the block.
In any case,
Yeah.
let's get to it.
Okay, I can't wait. Okay, so this lovely listener story, I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
I'm calling it Smack That Pork Right Out of His Hand.
Pardon me.
Yeah, you'll see why.
Excuse your mouth.
Yeah, you'll see why.
What?
Yeah, these lips, they say no lies.
Okay.
And it goes like this.
Tell me.
I was in this overly bright grocery store in the meat section when where they sometimes have the 50% off tonight only packs of meat. You'll find me there every Tuesday.
The overly bright
grocery store.
Love it.
I was considering a discounted pack of pork when a guy swooped in and grabbed the last pack. Clearly, I was looking at it and about to grab it. He didn't even glance at me. He just snatched it and walked away. For a split second, I felt this ridiculous surge of anger, like I was ready to smack it right out of his hand and deliver a dramatic monologue about justice and common decency over pork. Looking back, I still get a tinge of anger, and I know I was silly, but is that in that moment I kind of felt personal? Question mark. What is that irrational anger? Question
Ooh.
mark.
Okay.
Hence the title,
Lovely listener.
and then hence the irrational anger.
I am feeling angry on your behalf.
Yeah, me too.
That kind of situation is just like annoying and frustrating. And like, I think anger fits here.
Yeah.
Anger is the right reaction.
Can you, in this scenario, like I want to get super specific about like this type of scenario. What is the role of anger in this?
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's just talk about emotions in general.
Okay.
By nature, they are irrational. They're
all emotions.
They're not rational. They're not. They don't have a rational, logical, sequential line to them. They're just reactions, and it's information. So there's no rationality required to access emotion and to be in emotion. Well, actually, there's some rationality required to access emotion. Let me walk that back. When we're thinking about our feelings, that's just not the same as feeling our feelings, is what I'm saying. So thinking about your feelings, you might be reflecting on that situation and wishing that you didn't have that hot rage. Or maybe you might be reflecting back, thinking to yourself, ooh, maybe that was a big extreme or intense reaction. For sure. That is self-reflection. But the reactivity that comes from emotion is by definition not rational because it happens. I think what the lovely listener is maybe questioning is that too intense for that situation? So we can think about sort of this framework of, does the emotion match the situation? In that example, anger matches that situation, but punching someone in the face or slapping someone with a ham hock of pork, probably not.
Is the right
probably
reaction.
Not.
Oh, is not. Sorry.
So here, let's kind of get into this and talk about this a bit more because, you know, anger fits that situation. And so the feeling of being angry in that moment makes sense. Where I would say I would be more concerned is when there is an example or a situation like this one, but there are many obviously, where we disavow our anger. It's actually disavowed anger that starts to show up as those mental health problems later down the road.
So when you say that, what do you mean? Is that ignoring?
Well, let's say, for example, in that situation, you, instead of getting frustrated or angry, you are kind of like, okay, I deserve that. Yeah.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, sure. Bad things do happen to me. I guess I don't get the discount pork today. Right. So if it comes along with those thoughts, beliefs, stories, plus the dismissal, the disavowal of anger, we kind of cast that aside and we deny ourselves that right reaction in that situation. That can also show up as resentments, and that can also brew and boil like beneath the surface over time. Right. And so the disavowal of anger creates anxiety inside of us.
So what should we do then in those moments? Because it sounds like, you know, we can feel angry, but sometimes we don't want to act angry, right? Like, so in that moment, the lovely listener said, oh, I just wanted to smack the pork right out of their hands.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so that is not, you know, if you were to follow the spike of anger, it would have led us to that action. So what do we do so we don't disavow it?
Yeah, I love the distinction you just said, which is feeling angry is not the same as acting angry.
Right.
So what that means is
I'm pretty sure you've said this here on this podcast. But I said it now.
From my lips to your mouth.
To my mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like a baby bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means that angry feelings are not angry behaviors.
Okay.
Right? So when we can have our feelings, that's separate from the way that we turn those into behaviors or actions that, of course, spill out into the world, have a ripple effect, and impact other people. And so let's remember what anger is. We often say, I know you're gonna run this bit into the ground, and I'm just preparing myself for it.
Okay, ready. Hold on. I'm ready.
It's one of those therapy things that I know someone like Simon Palick will just take to the bank and run with it.
Is it like an acronym?
So
is
here
it a
we
stupid
go.
Acronym?
It's not an acronym, but it is one of those silly therapy sayings that happens. Here it is.
Go ahead.
Anger is the accountant of injustice.
Love that. Love her. What is she wearing?
Anger is the accountant of injustice, meaning that anger's whole job is to take care of injustices.
Yeah.
And so in any situation like this one, where there is sort of an imbalance of power or an unfairness or that injustice that lovely listener even described as an injustice, anger fits. Anger matches that situation. And so for me, I think about the internal experience of anger, and everyone has a different temperament. Everyone has a different way that they express or feel those emotions. And so if this situation makes that lovely listener like scorch the earth angry, then okay, that's how you feel about it. That's allowed. You get to be as angry as you want to about that.
So what do you do in that moment? Do you just kind of like, yep, I'm allowed to be angry? Like what do you do to prevent it from, like I said before, like how do you prevent it from like leading to smacking the pork right out of that guy's hand?
You know,
but at the same time, don't like just swallow it or ignore it. Where do you put it then?
I think therapy culture and in the therapy room in general, maybe clients, but also a lot of therapists too, have this idea that we have to manage emotions, right? So there's this whole like emotion management thing that we kind of do that like when we see a big reaction like anger, we kind of like rush in to stop it or prevent it or handle it in better ways or try to manage it. That's not healthy. That's not the healthiest way to interact with feelings. When we let feelings just do what they need to do, which is that they're trying to give us information about a situation. And so in this particular circumstance, we need to figure out, is this situational anger or is this historical anger?
Interesting.
Is this just about this moment?
Yeah.
Or is this tied to a string of moments that is there? Sometimes what can happen is when it's tied to a string of moments, then the intensity increases. So just like situations over time stack on each other,
right? Just
like little building blocks, it feels a lot more intense when it sort of becomes your general theme or this idea about who you are. So that's called a schema.
A schema.
Yeah.
A schema.
Yeah. So our experiences in the world, like shape.
I get that. I put a cream on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, especially in the summer.
For your schema.
Yeah, my schema in the wintertime.
Yeah.
It just like flares up.
For your precious hands.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
I hope you.
Oh, I do.
I hope you take good care.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
You best believe she takes good care of her schemas.
Exactly. But I'm not naming the brand that I use.
I don't want
because
you to.
I'm waiting for a brand sponsorship.
Oh no, I didn't ask.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm
No,
good.
I know you're not.
No, I'm good.
No, but it's the people out there. They want to know. They see my hands and they're like, Simon, what are you using? Your schema is like so cleared up. And to them I say, I'll never tell.
See, I don't have that problem.
Yeah. I guess it's
schema.
Jake,
where?
How hard
schema
is
where?
It being so perfect? Like how? Like
schema where?
Where? Show me. There's a hem here. There's a schema here. There's a schema here. There's a schema here. Okay, wait. So back to a schema.
Back to the program.
Yeah.
Back to you in the studio.
Yeah. Back to the point of this conversation.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to. No, I have a question. Okay, so I have a question.
You're the news anchor.
Okay, 100%. Sorry, 1,000 apologies.
Just kidding.
These hands?
We're both anchors.
Schema free.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both anchors.
We're both anchors.
This boat's not going anywhere.
Brenda and Barbara in the studio.
Live. The thing is, like an anchor, we just like to drag things on.
And then the listeners are like, Jake, Simon, you're not answering my question.
Like, stop talking. And we're like, well, that's it for now. Back to Brenda in the studio.
Yeah, exactly. Let's anchor in the lovely listener story.
Cool. So my question. So in this moment, bringing it back. So I'm in the store. Someone like swipes the pork. Is part of the, okay, so I get a spike of anger. Is part of, let's like slow it down, slow motion. Part of me wants to smack it out of his hand. But I'm like, no, that's not right. You know, like I don't want to do that.
Sure.
Right. But I also don't want to completely go the opposite way and say, I deserve that. So somewhere,
whatever.
Whatever. It
ambivalent.
Right.
Passive.
Because you're actually, that is a form of injustice. And you're allowed to be angry at that. I'd be so pissed off. So in that is part of it being like, okay, slow motion. Whoa, I feel really angry right now. Like kind of like noticing that I'm really angry and just being like, am I just angry about the situation that has just unfolded? Or is this a schema?
Or is it a schema?
Or is this like a historic, is this a pattern of thing?
Yeah.
Is part of it just information collecting? So then you can decide, okay, does my response to this scenario belong to this scenario? Or
give the man his degree. Give the man his degree. That's exactly how I think about it. We need to start thinking about emotions as information, not instructions. I'll let you have your moment.
You can't just hand me a diploma and not have a moment about it. an honorary degree and me just be like, thanks.
What was that? Pride.
Yeah.
I was feeling proud.
Thank you. I was feeling shy.
Yeah. Feeling shy girl.
I'm a shy girl.
So I think we need to treat those emotions, right, as just as you said, which I'll repeat, as information, not instructions. So we get to this place where
Is that with anger in general? We should do
I
that?
think all emotions.
All emotions.
I think,
okay.
again, we're therapy culture, and I think we just really get it wrong a lot of the times, is that when we're not really thinking deeply about this stuff, we tend to treat our emotions as having some sort of instruction manual, that it's sort of like, when I feel anxiety, this is what I have to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. When I feel angry, this is what I have to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And if it doesn't fit in that, then I'm a bad person, or I'm reacting wrongly, or something's broken inside of me. I'm more of the school that you react how you react, right? And it's yours, but we also get to choose how we respond. And so reactions are not responses.
Okay.
If you want to be scorched to earth, angry about a situation, okay. And you also have to figure out how you're going to use that information and respond.
Okay.
So I think that example that they gave is a great example where they responded in a way that kept the problem small, didn't create a bigger ripple than it needed to.
Yeah.
Because they were using their judgment, their discernment, their thinking brain to onboard some rationality into a thing that is generally pretty irrational. That is just by definition not often thoughtful.
So in this lovely listener story, they chose not to say anything, right? Or it sounds like they didn't. It just kind of like the moment happened and they got a spike in anger, and then it just kind of dissipated, and they were like, oh, I'm ready to smack the pork out of his hand. But I didn't. And maybe I spent a lot of my energy at that moment like restraining myself from doing it. But on the, like, that's my internal world.
Yeah.
But on the outside world, like in the wide camera, like we didn't see a reaction from that. If this person, could a option be, okay, man stole the pork. I was clearly looking at the discount pork. I am feeling really angry that you swiped that from me. I want to smack it out of your hand, but I'm not going to do it. But I am going to say something, being like, hey, I was looking at that pork.
Well, hold on. We have to remember that this is a shared experience between two people, right? So the person, the lovely listener, was having what we would consider a fight response, right? So they're kind of engaged, they're high drive towards that thing.
Yeah.
But so was the other person. The other person probably also switched into adrenaline mode and was like, I need to fight for my pork. I want to get my pork.
I need that 50% off for tonight only pork.
Right. And so it sucks to be the person on the other end of the losing end of that competition for pork, which is why that feeling of injustice remains present, and maybe why the other person left feeling like, yes, I got it, or yes, I won, or the person was not thinking about it at all and had no idea that their behavior caused a reaction in somebody else.
Right.
However, in that dynamic, right, we want to start to look at these things as shared experiences. They're dynamics. They're not just, oh, one person got way too angry about this pork, and so what does that say about them? So I love listener. I hope you're not blaming yourself. You know, you didn't get what you wanted, and you also felt how you felt about it, and that's all right. And we have to remember that other people are having experiences of these things too. And so we who are we to say like this person's fight response and anger is justified and this other person's fight response isn't? I do think that it is when it turns into behavior is where we can get a bit of a better measurement stick for that piece.
Right.
So if the person kind of came in and was like, pushed you out of the way and like, move, that's mine, still even ripped it out of your hands, of course that's not positive social behavior. Yeah. So you get to feel things about those experiences.
Okay. This has all been so wonderful. I think, okay, understand it. This is fantastic. Why don't we, for the sake of time, move on to the next segment?
Yeah.
But I find anger is one of those really interesting things, just in general, just to wrap her up. Like I feel as though like anger is a really, for me anyways, personally, like not a complicated emotion where it's like, what's happening? It's more so I find in the moment, because it's so like intense sometimes, I know that we don't want to act angry, but like the immediate thought is like, I'm going to smack the pork out of his hands. And I know that's not right. But the desire to do that is so intense that sometimes I'm just like, okay, so what do I do? Do I just like counter by swallowing it? Or do I, and then by that time, the moment's passed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then sometimes I just like say the thing.
It's one of my favorite things to work with in therapy.
Is anger?
Yeah, because I think socially, culturally, right, there are just so many unfortunate rules about anger that, unfortunately, I'll leave it there because I'll leave it there because I could say a ton about it. In any case, if you like this topic of anger, we can do a lot more episodes about it. Maybe you can send us a story. You can send us a DM, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll take a quick break.
Let's do that.
And we'll come right back.
Okay, deal.
Okay, BRB.
Okay, bye. All right, Seggy 2.
Yes. So
tell me about it, stud.
In this segment, honey.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about productivity guilt.
Ooh.
And before I read,
don't know what that is, but I feel like I got it.
Before I read anything, I just want your thoughts about it. Like, what do you know about it? What do you think it is? All that.
Okay, because normally what I do is, fun fact, is I actually read everything ahead of time so I can prepare. I didn't read this section.
Love.
I admit I didn't do my homework.
No, these are kind of my favorite episodes where we just get to like sort through it in real time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say productivity guilt is when you feel guilty for not being productive.
Amazing. Okay.
Is that it?
That's a great jumping off point and a great summary.
Is it right?
Yes. So
you're like, huh.
I'm like, I'll leave people to guess as well. No. So this article is coming to us from Very Well Mind by Nataline Meja. Right. And I'm going to read a couple segments of it just because I found this article so well done.
Amazing.
Very well written. And it goes like this. In a world that celebrates capitalistic achievements and success, it can be hard not to feel guilty for simply doing nothing. But the truth is, rest can be productive because it helps prevent burnout and supports overall well-being. As a chronic overachiever myself, it took me a long time to learn how to overcome my guilt over doing nothing and build healthier beliefs around work and rest. Our society tends to tie people's self-worth to what they're able to produce. So when I'm personally not actively producing work, I feel like I'm not failing only myself, but everyone else around me. Whew. Wow. So it is this sort of sense, right, that our ideas and beliefs about ourselves are constructed by our experiences and our environment, yes, but also what's happening internally for us around these core concepts, right, of things like success and earning a living and building a family, having happiness in our lives and finding joy and creativity. A lot of that can also come from this weird melting pot of the pressure that we put on ourselves to be productive, to be smart, to be successful, to be attractive, and everything of the sort. And so it's interesting, right, when we think about the emotion of guilt on a situation like that, where we are just talking about emotions matching situations and that being the right reaction that fits the scenario that was described. I look at this as maybe the opposite of that may be an emotion that is your experience that you get to feel and have. And I would say also that there are probably other ways of thinking about productivity or capitalism or success in ways that don't produce that type of guilt for someone.
So is guilt guilt a motivator in this situation?
Tell me more about that.
I'm thinking like I don't actually know. I know a lot of things, but this I don't know.
Do you mean like people will be more productive so they can avoid the feeling of guilt?
Oh, I was going to say the other way around.
It motivates you to produce.
Guilt motivates you to produce.
Wow.
Does it?
I'm thinking about it live.
Yeah.
I think all emotions can motivate something.
Right.
I think all of them have their job that they are designed to do.
Yeah.
The information that they communicate to us in order to help, motivate us to behave or act in certain ways, and perhaps motivate us to find safety or connection through things. And so, there are motivational components of of the emotions like guilt. And,
Right.
you know, I think what we also got to think about is that guilt is a healthy form of shame. And so shame says I am a bad person. Guilt says I'm doing bad things, or I'm a bad have bad behavior.
Right.
And so that might be sort of that sense of lack, that feeling that like I'm not doing enough or I'm not enough, whether that's guilt or shame. Guilt again is I'm not doing enough. Shame is I'm not enough. So it's an appraisal of self. Guilt is an appraisal of your behavior.
Right. Right.
And so in this dynamic, right, this writer is writing about how this profound sense of productivity guilt keeps them working, keeps them active, but also comes at a cost. So I'd like to kind of talk about the cost.
Sure.
The cost of that.
Yeah.
Do you have any just like experiences with this productivity guilt? Because I personally don't. I mean, I'm not someone who like, I don't feel guilty for taking a break or having rest.
Yeah.
To me, I think about it as this is part of the productivity. In order to be productive, I have to have rest.
Like you got to charge the batteries.
Yeah.
To keep going.
Yeah. That's sort of how I've always been. Like I just don't have that like gear shifter that's like, I have to keep producing. And if I stop and slow down, that means I'm not productive.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was going to make a joke being like, I don't know that. And then you said, well, I don't have that. And I was like, well, it's not going to be a funny joke then. Because
I guess I'm just saying I often try to like understand and like have sort of like touch points, but this is sort of one of the areas where I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get it.
I feel this. I can relate to this person. And I remember like a bulk of my 20s operated off of like my main engine was productivity, guilt, and being like, well, I got to be working all the time.
Right.
Weekends, nights.
And if I'm not, then
the dream dies, or like the work, all of this is for naught, or like I have to be building towards the thing.
That's a lot of pressure.
Oh, totally. I was like a burnout every Tuesday, you know?
Wow.
It was part of the fabric of it. I have since like re-evaluated and have done things to create a little bit more balance in my life. I
feel like we've really supported each other with that over the years. Like,
yeah,
I have those burnout parts too, but I think mine are just different. It's not guilt that fuels it. It's more
perfection.
It's more perfection.
But I also have that.
And anxiety.
But I also have that.
Yeah. Mine's more of like a gas pedal situation where I'm like, I just want things to be good. And I know that takes a lot of work. And sometimes I forget to recognize my needs and slow down.
Yeah. So I arrive at the same thing in both ways.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed.
and again, I think that we've like really supported each other to that. I think that we're now at an age where our life design, I think, also can facilitate a lot of that decision making for us.
Totally. And I think not to make this completely about me, but I do remember a pivotal moment in my life like 7 years ago where I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like I can't be like 25 feeling like I'm 70.
Yeah.
Like I have to make a change. It was like there was no choice. And I remember just being like, okay, like my default is to bury myself in work.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been that way.
Yeah.
Like I was such a good student. But I also liked learning, and I liked doing work, and I liked doing work really well. So I really like being competent. And I also like when I love doing something, I don't do it to be the best. I just kind of look at it being like, well, why not do your best?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Overworking is a great anxiety medication. It
got me through so much.
Same. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I remember I'm just hearing the productivity guilt. I remember having this kind of period of time where I'm like, okay, I need to separate myself from my work. And I remember taking like a 2-year hiatus from like this industry, and I did something else, which was very hard to do. Like anything where you're kind of like for so long you just did one thing, which was very hard to do. But I do remember being on the other side of it, being like, oh, it's really nice to have friends again. It's really nice to have like a basket of things that I care about.
Yeah.
You know, that's not just one thing. And I will say, like, in the productivity guilt of it all, at least through a personal experience, I will say having other things to care about feels like the antidote to like the guilt for me anyways. So I'm like, why play volleyball on Thursdays?
So
and
good.
like doing things that don't like sneakily
Creep
contribute to your
into-
work.
Yeah.
Because like
Become a new project in productivity.
yeah, like I remember like doing playing guitar, like learning guitar, but I came from like the acting world, so I was like, oh, that'll be a special skill that I can add to my resume. But I was like, no, that's not the antidote then, because I'm still like sneakily like funneling this leisure activity into turning it into something that's going to be productive.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of like tricking myself into saying like I'm relaxing when I'm not.
Yeah.
I
think-
like doing the activities that have nothing to do with my career. And then that to me is kind of helps me care about other things, which then ends up becoming the thing that's like, okay, I don't have to feel guilty here.
Mhm.
Like I'm allowed to want to take a break. I'm allowed to turn off my computer at like 6 p.m.
I'm kind of like picturing
You
this Venn diagram of our experiences. And I think the overlap is this like breaking free from being busy thing that we've tried to do, is like, we just don't have to be busy all the time. Although like it feels like we do in order to access something. And I'm really interested in that something, because I don't think that we do this for leisure and fun. I don't think that we do it by accident. I think there's probably a program to it. There's probably a dynamic that is there. And so maybe again, where our experience overlaps is that sometimes we get really zoomed in on things and then we struggle to zoom out. And when we do zoom out, we can see everything clearly, as we talked about last time about like seeing the wide lens.
Yeah.
It feels so nice, right? Like when you're able to slow things down and see things so clearly. But I think for me, like the kind of that, like, I'm picturing like a telescope. When you just get like really zoomed in on something, you're like, whoa, this is so blurry. I can't even see anything.
Yeah.
Even though I'm trying to do something or see something.
Yeah.
And so I think it's the zooming out, zooming in metaphor that makes sense to me.
Do you find like if people come to you, because again, I feel like I'm just like pulling from my personal experience because I relate so hard to this. Do you think the productivity guilt, right? Like we're allowed to want to feel productive, right?
Yeah.
Like we're allowed to like get
Yeah.
work done.
Yeah.
And you said guilt is kind of like the healthier version of shame, right? But when I think I ask you this question quite a bit, but I'm like, when do we know that we're kind of like in the healthy space of like productivity guilt? And then when are we moving over into like, okay, now we're kind of at the detriment? Like, how can I gauge that? You don't know.
No, I think about it in sort of really plain terms, which is that when there's a cost to it, especially a cost to our health or our well-being and our, like, you know, our social relationships, and maybe even financially, there's a big cost to it. If it's too stressful, I just think about all the costs, right? And I don't mean to turn it into a cost benefit analysis. I don't think that is required here, but I do think about just sort of like when there is a significant amount of suffering or pain or stress, or there's a cost to this, that likely means that there are probably different ways of doing things. And so that's sort of why, like, again, in my work, when I work with clients, like I don't use the word productivity with other people. I don't usually say, oh, that didn't sound productive, or like that's not productive of you to react that way.
Right.
Because it's not about productivity. Like productivity, I think, again, is that like capitalistic idea that like we have to be producing something, or there has to be an outcome attached to a behavior for it to be worth something, or for us to take a sense of worth from it.
Right.
And so I think that you're sort of hitting the nail on the head here, which is that when we derive our worth from these sort of actions, they do come at these significant costs to us that sometimes we are unaware of until it really costs, until it really starts to impact the mental, emotional, social health of it all.
One final question that I have for you based off of this, because you had sort of said like, oh, this feels a little like not necessarily my experience, right? The productivity guilt. Can you sort of talk about how you sort of set yourself up to include that, I don't know, the rest and recharge as part of also being productive? Like, do you have to tell yourself something? Like, how can you, or like train yourself as someone, as someone who's like,
it's a good question,
rehabilitating from this? Like, what would you say to me to help be like, okay, for so long, rest is like, oh, I can't do that, I feel so guilty. How can you help me help myself introduce a little bit more rest in my process.
Yeah, I'll tell you a bit of a story. Like, I think the past 2 years in my life have just been quite heavy and hard. I have had some hard things happen that we haven't talked about here, but in any case, it has like really been tugging on all those parts of me for a long time that want to be operating at a certain level, and I feel like I can't get there, and it has come at a cost, right? And so I've had to readjust. So the way that I have figured out that what works for me is that if I'm not resting and if I'm not moving my body physically, or if I'm not eating well, then there are other costs associated with those types of behaviors too, that I think about. Like, if I'm going to be talking to people in a therapy room all day, for example, there was an extended period of time, and it still is true today, but there was an extended period of time where I realized if I'm not lifting heavy things, then I can't handle heavy things with other people.
You mean like physically lifting?
Yes.
Like going to the gym to lift weights. Got it.
I need to go to the gym the same day that I'm also doing some heavy emotional work too, because it just rebalances the scale in a way that just sets me up for success. I've figured out that if, for me, in the morning I do that, and then I can go spend all day doing it, then I feel so much better and so much more prepared and capable to handle the day. Some people, I've talked to other people about this, some people want to work out at the end of a hard work day.
Me.
Because then you're kind of like releasing all the stuff, right? For me, it's more sleep that does that. And again, I think all brains and bodies are different. Right. But when I come home from a heavy emotional day, the first thing I want to do is rest. Right. And so I guess the short answer to your question from a long story is that I build it into the schedule because I know that's part of the program. That's how I get to that place where I'm functioning or producing at a level that feels my speed and also feels like within my capability. So if you just think of, I'm picturing like a Google Calendar, I'm thinking about all the things throughout the day. I don't stack my day like go, 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 go. I stack my day in a way where I insert workouts or insert rest, breaks, maybe even a nap. I've been loving naps lately.
Wow.
Because that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of the plugging in and the recharging to get to that place. And so therefore I don't feel the counter effects of that, which is if I didn't do enough, then I feel guilty. Or if I didn't meet my schedule, then I feel guilty. Or if I'm not like, feeling I'm hitting my benchmarks, then I'm not successful enough. So I think I've just figured out a way to reroute that story. And I use things like my calendar, my schedule, my commitments to facilitate that.
Yeah.
But these are boundaries, right, that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The things like a break or rest or working out, those are non-negotiables in my calendar.
Yeah.
Every single week at the same time, those are in there and they're non-negotiables.
Right.
Everything else gets scheduled around those. And so those sort of become the building blocks rather than the dessert or the add-on if I have enough time.
Right.
So
I like that.
I do a backwards plan. That's sort of how I figured it out.
That's helpful.
For myself.
Yeah.
That works for me. It may not work for everybody, but that's something that I feel like is something that is productive for me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I like that.
All right. Well,
I like that. Well, we are going to download that resource, which is Jakey's workout calendar, and we're all going to apply it to all of our lives. Yeah. That's it. Wait, when does the Jane Fonda tape drop?
No, whoa. Are we sharing the same brain right now? That's literally what I was picturing.
Wow.
Like a Jakey, like Jane Fonda moment.
Yeah. In
Jakey
that like onesie.
Jakey X Jane.
Like,
love.
please.
All right, listen.
All right, let's segue sadly to the final segment.
Okay. All right.
Okay, let's do it.
I'll see you there. Okay. Bye.
All right. At the end of every single segment,
I have a confession.
What?
I love this question coming up.
Oh, okay.
I just got a sneak peek. Okay. And it's so exciting.
Do I know what it is? Oh, okay. I don't know what it is.
We got to blast through because we need to get to the question.
Okay. So at the end of every single podcast, Jake and I, we like to have this segment that's tried and true where we like to resurface and leave you all in a space of just a little bit of levity because sometimes we go splunking and it's a little too deep. So we have this wonderful segment called Asking for a Friend where you, the lovely listeners, can submit anonymously to us a question, a query, a quandary, something that's on your mind, and submit it to the pod. And then we try to answer it as friends because you don't always have to bring every problem and dilemma to therapy. Sometimes you just need to talk to a friend.
So, without further ado.
And without further ado.
This is Asking for a Friend.
Oh, absolutely. Because you were so excited about it.
I got so excited by this question. And so like when I first read it, I was like, ooh, this is going to be so fun to talk about.
All right. Talk about what are the lovely listeners asking us today?
This is, it's quite short. So it goes like this. How much loneliness is normal in adulthood? And when should it be a signal that something needs to change? Isn't that such a good question? Isn't that such a good question?
Such a good question.
I mean,
Jakey, we talked about resurfacing.
I want to talk about the answer. I just want to talk about the question.
Go.
I just want to talk about the question.
Okay, talk about it. I think
we can have our answers.
Okay, but talk about the question. What is like tickling your fancy about this?
I just think any time that you can sort of draw that distinction between that middle ground in a question like this or in a dilemma that you're facing, to me, that's like, oh, you're onto something. So I think about like just asking this question is probably already half the work. This is like so much heavy lifting that this person is doing to get to that place. Yeah. To say how much loneliness is normal in adulthood. Yeah. And how do you know like when something needs to change?
So in that, do you see do you see what's being asked? Like this person is obviously feeling very lonely. Mm-hmm. They're in adulthood, feeling really lonely.
Contemplating change.
And they're contemplating change.
And then I think they're sort of asking like, do I have to wait for it to get worse for it to get better? How long do I kind of have to hold out to wait for the feelings or the lifestyle that I want? Yeah. See, I see a lot of like kind of undercurrent here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then I kind of get to that place of like thinking, well, it probably just like is clicking down the track for this lovely listener. Right. And they're chugging along, chugga, choo, choo. Yeah. Waiting to see like, okay, at what point do I make the change? And so the only guidance that I can give here, and this isn't kind of therapy stuff, I'm just as a friend. Yeah. Sometimes we wait for all this like other external stuff in our world to change, but you have all the information you need to make the change now. Right. You can make the change now. You have the information. And so if you're feeling lonely, and maybe it's not like so fiercely lonely that it's like really sad and difficult for you, but maybe you're just kind of like, ooh, this is not really working for me. Yeah. At any point you get to make a change, especially when you're an adult. That's the best part about being an adult.
That's interesting.
What do you think?
So interesting.
What do you think?
Well, I want to, you know what? When you first asked it, I was kind of like, whoa, how do I answer this? Then I realized through you talking, because you're so smart, not joking. You actually are so smart.
Oh my God. So smart.
I think that is such a right response. What I'll comment on is the fact that I think feeling lonely in adulthood is normal. Yeah. I think it's adulthood transitioning, or like young adult. We have no idea how old this person is, but I know just like in our friend group and our like people's lives are changing at different speeds and in different directions that maybe like are more adult than others. And some people are like maybe not making big life milestones. Like who's the indicator to say like what makes an adult? Yeah. I think there's something especially about like moving into adulthood that I think by the nature of it is going to feel a little lonely, because that's when I think people start branching off and like making different life choices, which then kind of like repattern, the next like 5, 10, forever points of their lives. Right? Yes. But so I think it's normal to maybe feel lonely for a bit.
But what I kind of worry about though is that we might also be normalizing loneliness too much.
You think?
We might. Yeah. I write a lot about this, and this is a lot of what the book that I'm writing is gonna be about.
Drop it.
Is about that we might have gotten a bit too comfortable with this being our normal.
So do you mean sort of like, okay, you're feeling normal instead of, seeking out like social connection? What we're defaulting to is like, no, it's okay that I feel lonely.
Well, maybe let's use a different word than normal. I think normal can be used many ways. Normal, I think, can mean it's common. I think that's what we're talking about, that this is really common, right? That adults feel lonely. Yeah. But what can also do when we use the word normal is that we say that this is acceptable and we approve of this. And so we want to steer away from that, I think. Right. Which is that like, it's not acceptable to be this lonely in adulthood, but it is common, is my take on it.
Got it. Okay. No, I think you're saying what I tried to say.
Yeah.
Which was like, I think
there's a nuance here, right?
Like it's not odd that you're feeling lonely.
Yes,
in adulthood.
Exactly.
That's what I meant.
Exactly.
Love that. You know what I think?
But we don't love
we don't love it.
Yeah, no.
We don't have to say it. But you know what I think about? I think it was was it last week or 2 weeks ago? You said something on the pod. We were talking about like, I feel this, therefore
I feel blank, which means I need blank. Yep.
Yeah.
And so I will.
Yeah. That's what I kind of think of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I feel lonely.
Which means I need connection.
And therefore I'm going to reach out to a friend.
Yeah.
Or something. That's what I kind of think about.
Yeah, love that. And
Yeah.
I also think, just lastly,
Yeah.
I would say this to any of my friends. Like, I think that sort of question about change at the end, I think is lingering all the time in adulthood. I do think that is incredibly normal, i.e. common.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, right? Like, you are always kind of like,
growing and changing.
should I do this or should I do that? Like, is it time to do this or should I, that's always sort of this like reinvention thing that happens in adulthood if you feel like you're wanting to be like growing all the time. So anyway,
because if you're growing, you're changing.
Because if you're growing, we've always said that.
No, but if you're changing, or you
then we are growing.
Which
exactly.
But it's who you always are, right?
That you'll stay the same as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think we're always changing, don't you?
Are you? Or do you think we're just kind of like staying the same?
I love Bridesmaids.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Clock the reference.
Clocking. Tick, 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 tick. Listen, lovely listeners, thank you so much for being here. If you like what you heard, give us a like, comment, subscribe, and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
We are on all the social platforms, and we're going to say this every week until the cows come home. If you are only listening to this podcast, my goodness.
You are only getting half the story.
Go to youtube.com and find us, because this is a picture program now. So you can watch us. Yeah. But otherwise,
we'll see you next week.
Oh, we forgot to thread the needle. Do it quickly.
No,
do it.
I won't be me.
What was it? Productivity. What was segment 1? Anger. So sometimes we get irrationally angry when we're not productive and guilty. Whatever. Okay.
We'll try again next week.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
This isn't therapy.
Thank you. We really dropped the ball there.
Wow. Okay, we'll try better next week.
Okay.